Man, I just dove right in, went right to it. We're here. We are live. Welcome into the half. My name is Aaron Montgomery. This is Erich Campbell. Eric, yes, hang loose, brother. Good to see you. Good to see you on this side of the camera here for a moment.
Yeah, right.
Because what it was a couple weeks ago, where you and I were both right here the whole time, but
This is true. This is true. We were through here doing the entirety of the Two Other Guys show and the half. I mean, I guess we could have just streamed all day. I don't know.
yeah,
Could
we
have just
should have
done for
just
that.
because after the half, then you and I spent 2 hours just kind of catching up and chatting. I think, if I
Yeah,
remember
I mean,
right.
we were both working and chatting for a good period of time. So yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was.
definitely had to catch up, and then yeah. So like you said, we should
It
just
happens.
stream the whole day for sure. So
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think so. I do. I've made the joke before where I've been in this position either on one side or the other of the fence. I always say, you have a jumpy horse that you have to put a goat in with the horse to keep it calm. I
the
think
calming
sometimes
goat.
you and I work like that for each other while we're
That's
doing stuff.
right.
We
Oh,
probably get more work done while we're also talking about something else
oh
sometimes.
yeah, for
But yeah,
sure. Yeah,
that's
get yes, indeed. So I like that. I think I'm gonna actually I'm gonna go after this. Remind me to go change my LinkedIn profile that I'm also a calming goat.
I mean, you always want to say you're the goat, but usually that's not what you're
Yeah,
looking for.
different way than normal, but the common
Different
goat,
way.
I can take
Different
that
way.
too. So, all right. So this one's for you, Eric, because I knew I screwed it up today.
Yosta. Hi, Yosta. Good to have
Okay.
you in.
Yosta, good to see you.
Yosta.
Thanks for being here.
Close enough.
And then Ramona, great to have you here. She says, I've been so busy these last few weeks. So,
Yes, must concur with that. And I will say for anybody who is into, let's say, e-commerce, digital marketing, advertising, if you have been dealing with the vast number of changes, alterations, and things that are different as I have, um, I'm sorry. There's
you
been a
feel
lot
their
going
pain.
on. The conferences and everything else, and I don't even want to get into Facebook changing their name to Meta or any of the other. I'm like, it's all coming. There's a lot of repercussions in this whole digital world we're living in. But hey,
All right.
busy few weeks.
Yes, yes. So we've got Sandy tuning in. Hello, Sandy. Thanks for being here. Muldo,
Yes,
and
Mike Muldowney.
yeah,
Oh
great.
hi.
Oh, hi. Ohio. And then two regular guys, guest here joining us, Todd Downing.
Right.
Hello.
If you wanted to know anything about direct to film or DTF transfers, go back, watch the Two Reeler Guys, tworeelerguys.com, or check us on any social media because Todd this morning had a great episode where he shared a lot of what he has researched and worked on and learned through diligent, difficult standards trying to get things done. So yeah, go check out Todd's episode this morning. Really, really good stuff.
Yeah, it was great. In fact, so much good stuff that we're going to have a
Yeah,
part two coming up on the
on the
19th of
19th.
November. So I think I tagged all of the questions from the regulators that we missed. So I've got a sheet full of notes here. And if we missed anything else, then just show up on the 19th and ask. That's how we roll.
Yeah, man. And especially, I'm going to say, I know that we have no topics here, but if you ask us about DTF, we're going to tell you to go talk to Todd because we don't know as much as Todd does whatsoever.
Uh, true,
I'll be
but
like, so is that a thing we could talk about in relation to how it relates to embroidery?
yes,
Just
yes.
checking.
Yeah.
But
Now,
yes,
we
yeah.
might, yes, send you to Todd, but then I'll try to answer it anyhow because that's just how we roll, right?
This is true. I will tell you all the stuff I know and then say I don't know anything.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. Good afternoon, Frank. Thanks for
Frank
being
out in the
here.
UK. Thank you for always being a good supporter.
And then
And
Rich,
Rich is in.
hello.
Hello, Rich.
And then,
Justin Armenta, digitizer himself of jadigitizing.com. Good morning. The best 1,800 seconds of Friday. I don't know if that counts. I'm going to be
I like the
self-serving
math
and
though.
say, yeah, I like the math, but but I will say there's a lot of good seconds happening on Friday. I'm going to say,
Yeah.
everybody gets a chunk of that. But
But you
thank
know
you.
what? I'm willing to go with that.
The best
It's
18.
official. It's
Now it's the
official.
tagline. The best
Yep.
1,800 seconds of your Friday.
We are that will be how I introduce it, how I share it next week on Two Regular Guys. So the best 1,800 seconds of Friday. There we go.
There we
All right.
go.
I love it. Thanks, Justin. And hello,
Yes.
Jeff. And says one of his favorite shows. Great. Well,
Fuller Embroidery Works, Jeff
yeah.
Fuller, the embroidery nerd. You got to check out his stuff too. Glad to. What I always love too is that we watch each other's shows pretty frequently. We don't catch all of each other's shows,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
a lot of us who are in the content space in decorating get to talk to each other about that and about our kind of second job, which is making content and shows.
Sure,
So it's
sure.
kind of cool to get
Yeah.
to getting that from someone else who's doing shows always gives you a positive feeling. So thank
Yeah,
you, Jeff.
yeah. Oh, it's awesome. That's one of my favorite parts about all of this is getting to, cooperate and interact and share and do things
100%.
together and support others.
100%.
It's kind of reminds me of kind of like the big YouTube star people, not like
Oh
in our
yeah,
industry, but like
sure.
just like the ones that are kind of like the Mark Rober and then the Mr. Beast. I know all these
Yeah,
because my
totally.
10-year-old watches all these,
I
but
was about to say, if
um
you have a kid, you have a much higher chance of knowing who these people are.
yeah,
I
who these
do, but
people
I
are.
do from
Yeah.
the merch world. I
There you
know
go.
people who do merch for podcasts, merch for YouTubers,
Yep.
and so I know more of them from that because I'm not a big like
Yeah.
Mr. Beast fan, but I know who Mr. Beast is and I know
Yeah,
the
yeah,
kind of stunts he
exactly.
pulls.
And so they
So
all get
yeah,
together and do stuff together and things
for
like that.
sure.
So we're just like
Sure.
that,
Cross
except for
pollination. I mean, with an nth, a tiny amount of followers in comparison, but yes,
hey,
sure. We're
quality
just
over
like that.
quantity, Eric. It's quality over quantity.
It's the best followers, and
Yeah,
that's what
that's
you guys
right.
are.
Absolutely.
All right.
And then Todd says, I'm going to go for a three-parter on this topic. We'll see. We
I'm going to
can,
say this with the amount of stuff people don't know about DTF, you could definitely do that because the thing is, every time I hear somebody talking about direct to film, it's as if Bigfoot has stepped out of the mist, and they're just like, "Do you know? I've heard that there's a thing, and we have some footage of it somewhere, but I'm
Mhm.
not sure if it's real."
Yeah,
So yeah, I think
exactly.
it's good on Todd for being an early adopter and getting out in front of it,
Yep,
and
definitely.
being the pilot. He's the canary in the coal mine for all of us. So thanks, Todd.
That's right. I like that. There you go. Todd, you need to update your LinkedIn profile now too to say I'm the canary in the coal mine.
I'm giving everybody just Jay Bassell should be giving me a kickback because I'm getting
Yeah,
everybody on his
that's
interesting
right.
headlines. Yeah, check out your headlines on LinkedIn. Those are not just your title for your company.
There you go.
I actually changed my headline last week, so
Yeah, I did too.
I
All
did.
right.
Thank you,
So
Jay Bassell. If you haven't
yeah,
seen
exactly.
his classes,
Yep.
go check out Jay.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Jay was just in to do a in-depth LinkedIn training for us inside of our success group. And,
Fantastic stuff.
and I consider myself somewhat knowledgeable on the topic, but,
Mm.
wow, it was awesome. So
Had some great ideas. Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
for sure.
All right. Bevy Jean checking in from the UP of Michigan here to learn. So Bevy Jean,
Yeah,
here's
why do you want to
my
learn?
challenge back to you. Let us know what questions you have then.
Yeah, for sure. What do you want to talk
What do
about?
you want to learn about? We're happy to share whatever knowledge that we have, and so we just need the questions.
Yes,
Um,
indeed.
oh, got Brian
Brian
checking
Bailey,
in.
a creator
Yep.
of Brilliance. Sorry I missed 2RG this morning, but here for a half. Thank you for being in. I know Brian is incredibly busy too. We've had some busy stuff, lots of stuff going on in Brilliance. That and
Yeah.
also speaking of tech updating, if you guys haven't seen all the updates to all the operating systems, Windows 11 is launching kind of completely on the desktops. If your update notice hasn't told you yet, it might be soon.
Yep. I
There's a
got that
lot going
yesterday.
on in the software world.
Yeah.
For sure. But
Yeah.
luckily, hey, we know we run on it. So
There you go.
that's
There you
that's what
go.
you got to worry about.
Nice. So
But
you guys got that. Yeah, I was thinking
how
about
it
that,
is.
right? Like what all these folks that have, especially you guys there, Eric, that
Oh yeah.
what work Brian has to go through to keep up with all that stuff. Because
Our
I
we
get
got
like
good
his
people ahead of
update
it. But
every,
yeah.
like it feels like it's every week. It's like, oh, we've got a new Windows update for you. I'm like, oh my God, come on,
Yeah,
people.
trust me. If you imagine the panic you guys feel when you have to update and you're just updating your own computer. Now imagine what a software company feels when those updates push. Those are always rough. But what I'm gonna say is Brian's ahead of it. Tim is ahead of it. Our team has been ahead of it, and we were running on 11 already. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like that's always fun when the updates come in because what the funny thing is, and I think this is interesting. We're talking about direct to film. We're talking about new technologies. We're talking about the new stuff going on in the social
Yep.
space. I think the largest amount of overhead is people assuming that other problems they're having are due to the update.
Yeah.
That's the thing I have. It's actually fear. Fear is the worst thing that we deal with updates rather than the actual update itself. Like functionality usually is normal. It's people attributing other stuff that they're doing wrong or garbage input to the update making the thing
Interesting.
go wrong. And I think
Interesting.
that's been I've also learned that it's same thing working at Deco Network, working with e-commerce previously.
Yeah.
When you make changes, people attribute anything that's going wrong in their sphere that's anywhere touching it to the latest change because change kind of makes people uncomfortable. And I think that's probably the worst part of it. It's one of those
Yeah.
things.
Interesting.
Um, yeah, seriously, I think a lot
Yeah.
of it is that. I mean, are
Yeah.
there update issues? Yeah, sure. But I
Sure.
think a lot of it is there's a ton of things that happen where it's just like someone has done something that is resulting in something they don't like, and it's often due to, something entirely unrelated, but because we saw an update notice recently. It's like I said, same thing online, same thing with algorithms updating, same thing with changes in the, in e-commerce. A lot of the time you'll feel like that's what's causing issues, and it may be completely unrelated.
Yeah,
Hard not to,
interesting.
though.
Yeah,
Hard not to.
I like that because I got my Windows 11 notice a couple days ago. I think I got
Yeah.
on this computer today or yesterday or something like that. I can't remember exactly. And I'm like, I'm gonna hold on that. I
Oh,
got
and
too many
I will
things
say
going
this
on
on
right now.
production computers. I'll be honest, when I was running, because what people may not know, though I did IT and embroidery and everything else, or I did the e-commerce. I also did IT for the shops I ran, down to the point of installing all the routers, running all the cables, doing all the
Yeah,
configuration for the networking. I
yeah,
did that too. And part of that, believe me, I did not push updates early on absolute production necessary stuff, especially something that's attached to equipment. A computer that was attached to equipment, generally for me, no internet, no updates unless I told it to, because if it's working right now to drive whatever machine you need for production,
yeah,
I'm going to leave it running that unless I have to change it or there's some other reason. And if it's a completely non-connected, not on the internet computer, then I don't have to worry so much about security updates. That's
yeah.
not the issue. So yeah, waiting to push an update, not a problem. If it's production capable machinery, no, I don't need to update that unless something's desperately needs the update. Tell you the truth.
Totally. Um, all right. Well, let's keep going here, Eric. We've got Lori checking in. Thanks
Hello,
for being
Lori.
here. And Bevy Jean, you are a rock star because you're open to
Yes.
learning. I love it. So
You're
when
already
you
ahead of the
have
game.
them, fire them away. We're here. I
Yep.
love it, and I love you being here and tuning in. So thanks for joining us. Ramona says, I just got my Windows 11 notice this morning, waiting till the workday is done before I get it set up, just in case it goes bad, right?
Smart. Smart.
Yeah. Um, and then Bevy Jean says, that's learn as I go. Obviously need to work on computer skills too. You're doing great, Bevy Jean. Again, thanks so
Doing
much for
great.
being here. Love having you. All
This is
right.
awesome, by the way.
PSA service announcement from and Brilliance from Brian Bailey. Go ahead, Eric.
I would like to share a reminder. This time of year is time to advertise. Yes, it works, but there's a catch. You have to rise above the noise, meaning spending more than you may care to risk. It means being creative, but don't forget to do it. This man knows. And 100%, I'll say the other thing is, I'm going to say I've been working on making sure there's more data and accountability. I just managed to get our Google conversion tracking running the way I would like it to, finally, at least getting it started to work correctly. And that's part of it. You need to get out there, spend, do things that are creative, lead into the marketing of this.
Yeah.
I've written several reports white papers, presentations, and articles on how to survive holiday seasons. Advertise early, be clear about your cutoff dates, and the worst thing I've ever seen people do when they start to see sales slump is go, okay, well then I can't spend on marketing because I don't have the capital.
Yeah.
That's the one thing you have the capital for. I mean, and you
Yeah.
need to. When you stop
That's how
marketing,
you
sales
reverse
stop
the
happening.
sales slump, right? Yeah.
That's the only way you're going to reverse the sales slump. It's very much like saying, you know what, not enough people know about my restaurant. I need to make sure I take all the signs down and quit telling people about it. That is not going to bring more
Head
traffic in.
scratcher. Yeah. Yeah. And the other interesting part here, and the great point by Brian, he
Absolutely.
mentioned the noise, Eric,
Yes.
and when you talk about that side of it, I think one of the ways that I think people kind of maybe miss the boat a little bit when they're trying to get above the noise is they just want to yell louder and keep doing the same thing that they've been doing over and over. And he also mentioned creativity in there, so I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Big time.
And then the other piece is, we are now, like he said, this is the time, right? Everybody's trying to get after it. And now, because of some of the challenges that are happening, I think everybody's kind of going, oh crap, we got to go early because it might get real
Yeah.
ugly late, right?
Yeah.
And who knows? So you've got all that going on. But if you didn't do the work to actually have a proper foundation for your marketing, meaning, do you know who your ideal customer is? Do
Oh,
you
for sure.
know where they are? Do you know specifically what their challenges are that you are going to be able to solve for them? All of that kind of, everybody talks about marketing. And whenever I say the word marketing, I think 99% of people go, oh yeah, my Facebook posts, my email. That's
Sure.
like the last 5% of it in my book, right? The other
Yeah. Yeah.
95% of the time is understanding who your ideal customer is, getting your niche, finding out, because it's not hard to get above the noise if your niche is tight enough that there's not that much noise in it and you're the best in your space. And you
Oh
don't
yeah.
have to be the best embroiderer to be the best in your space. You can be the best embroiderer in your space and, and be at the top.
Oh
So
yeah,
anyhow,
and
your
this could
take
be
on that?
from any different angle too. And I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you one of the things that we used to do that I always loved is we would invite our big corporate clients who did gift programs and things like that
Uh-huh.
out to an early holiday party way before the holidays and have them look at new apparel and items and
Yeah.
give them a small discount if they ordered that day. Now you can do that virtually, you can do that in other ways, but just say,
Sure.
"Hey, I'm gonna schedule a 15-minute with you where I'm gonna show you the top 5 new items that I think are gonna go, and you can already have stock in them if you thought about it ahead of time. You can already, or you can know where you're gonna get stock if you can't. It's things you can prepare for, and you lean into the things you know you can do, and give people an incentive to order early. And I know we're getting into November. Ordering early is already kind of almost out
Yeah.
of the gate now. We're
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
We're done with that.
So order
But I
now.
would
Yeah.
I would say this is the best time ever to go. Hey, I have solutions in place. Know at the drop of a hat what the solutions in place you have are, what's in stock, what you can make, what you can do for people who are going to try and show up late on you.
Yeah. Totally.
It's good to have that solution in mind ahead of time and market to it.
Yeah.
That's the thing I always get kind of crazy. It's the same thing as when I talk about people who have like garments that they hate running that never run well. And I'm like, are you continually putting those in front of people as their top option? If it's something that everybody knows about in a segment and you can't avoid it, fine, I get that. Like if we have popular garments and
Yeah.
we're getting those and they're hard to run, like I know depending on how you're set up for embroidery, some people hate running Carhartt jackets. I like them, but if you hate running those things and all of your trade knows about Carhartt jackets and wants those, you're going to have a hard time not selling those. But when it's stuff that's anonymous, when it is stuff like the average sports shirt, the average sweatshirt, the average whatever, you don't have to put the worst running one in front of them at all. Put the best one, put the one you have stock in,
Yeah.
put the colors you know you can get in front of people first as an
Yeah.
option, because most people aren't, or at least a lot of people are suggestible or they don't know exactly what they want yet. If you give them a good incentive to do something like that, they'll be working with you, not against you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a problem that comes up forever. So
Sure. And I
same
think
thing now.
yeah, and I think all of those things do kind of boil back to, again, that foundation, because you have to know those things, right? If
Yeah,
you don't know who your customer is, you won't know what alternatives you need to put in front of them, right? Like I said with the Carhartt thing or things like that.
sure.
Ramona says it really well is, who's in your tribe, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's that group? And so I think taking the time, I just feel like businesses don't take enough time with that. It's one thing to like, oh yeah, I kind of got a gut feeling for it, but run the data, figure it out,
Sure.
talk to people, ask
Sure.
others, spend a little extra time in those pieces, and you'll find all the other pieces become easier because now you've got information that you can confidently make a decision
Oh
when
yeah.
things come up, right?
Well,
So
there's always a mix. There's a mix of risk you can put into it. I am not going to say don't ever do a moonshot. I think there are times where you don't really
sure.
know what you have until you get it out in front of randos. There are people who aren't your target who might end up being important to you. But
Sure.
I think that when we're talking about leaning in like that, yeah, no, definitely you have to know an audience because you can't speak to an audience you don't know.
Correct.
Um, it doesn't come out right. Plus, the kind of advertising we used to do when we had 4 channels of television is not what we're doing now. That's
Shotgun.
not at all. Yeah, it's not shotgun method. We don't just blast it out and
Yeah.
hope for the best anymore, or at least it's not the way we generally tend to do it. And if,
We
especially
shouldn't
if you have
be.
a core,
Yeah.
well, let's put it this way: we all know that the best, most likely sale you're going to get is someone who's already bought from you once.
Yep.
This is a really great time to be using your contact list and remarketing.
Yep.
This
Yep.
is the time. I mean, if
Yep.
you're ever going to
For
do it,
sure.
this is the time to be getting at the people who are already trusting you,
Yeah.
um, and make them choose you instead of deciding on something different for the year.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I know stock issues, everything else. We have had this discussion many, many times, but like I said, this is the best time ever to put forward the option that's going to work for you.
Totally.
So
Totally. In
let's do
fact,
it.
Todd says, why promote things you hate doing or can't get? Makes no sense to me when people do that. So
Yeah,
I think we've covered that pretty well, unless you
for
have
sure.
anything else there.
No.
Back to what we were talking about with some of the software stuff. Is it bad? I still have a terminal running XP.
Here's where the big confession comes. I'm somebody who likes new technology, who worked and did IT and stuff, but when I had an old vinyl cutter that I still wanted to run for a long time, and the software for it back in the day, the Gerber Edge software ran on XP, I built XP computers way past the last security date for XP. I don't even want to tell you. I was about to ask Todd. I'm like, you sure you don't do embroidery? Because
There
there's a
you go.
lot of us who are running a really old machine that interfaces with something specific. Here's the problem I have with it. When that thing failed, when that computer finally, I just couldn't build parts for it anymore, I suddenly had a very critical situation where I had to upgrade everything.
Yeah.
If you're making sure you know what that cost is going to be and you've got that saved back and ready for it,
Yeah.
go ahead, run it into the ground. I ran really old equipment right into the ground when it was still running and efficient. But I'm going to say, if you're messing with it too much, if it's not reliable, and
Yeah.
you're headed, and for sure, you're always headed for a critical failure.
Yeah.
If you
Totally.
are running on equipment that you can't replace anymore, there is a failure coming. You
Yeah.
don't know when it's coming. So just
Yeah.
be ready. Be
Yeah.
ready. Know you're buying a new cutter. Know you're buying a new printer. Know you're buying a new laptop to run it or whatever.
Yeah.
That terminal is going to get replaced. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I keep running things as long as
Sure.
they're
No,
good.
I'm all about that too. But I think, like you said, the real key point there is, make sure you have that plan.
Yeah,
What is, because when you said you get to that critical point where you can't fix it anymore, then, um, you know, what do you do? And if you don't have a plan and you're just kind of trying to make it up as you go, that's going to be a challenge. And that could be, detrimental to business. But if you've got a plan, okay, I've got the plan
totally.
to happen here. I'm ready. I know how much it's going to cost me. I'm ready to make that investment. Just being able to plan ahead and again, business basic stuff for sure. So
Oh, totally. And that's Brian is absolutely right on this. You can save an old PC in the way of a virtual machine. I did this before. You run XP virtual machines. The only problem you have is interfacing with old technologies and outputs. Sometimes, like getting the serial and parallel port outputs out of those things to make them run correctly for those machines doesn't always work.
yeah,
But and
yeah,
here's the other thing I'll say: do think about how much efficiency you might get out of new equipment too, though, because there does come a time. I've known people who are running at half the speed of other shops because they're literally just running old technology that doesn't run as well anymore, that's not as efficient, that doesn't have the same capabilities. And if you get tied to that, you can have issues. But it's all about the cost benefit analysis. We all know that that's something we do with everything. So
yeah,
but I'm with Brian here too. When it comes to updates, remember the old adage: if it is not broken, do not fix it. Yeah, if it's not broken, don't fix it. There are certainly things, like I said, dumb terminals attached to machinery. They very rarely need updates unless there's something compelling.
yeah,
That's
totally.
really, they don't always need to be updated or attached to the internet, because there's nothing like your staff surfing the internet on the computer that's attached to your cutter, printer, whatever the
Yeah,
heck it is that you're working
exactly,
on, and getting
exactly.
something screwed up on it.
Yep. Nice. All right. Good morning, Marianne. And Marianne says she agrees with Brian. So
Hmm.
as I think we all have here. So good
Yep.
stuff there. All right. Bevy Jean says, new to business, join the local chamber of commerce. I would like to send some kind of holiday
Mm.
greetings to local businesses with some embroidery to advertise my work and let them know I'm here. So Eric, you have any thoughts on that?
I will say it can be costly, but, and this is from other experts than me, I have had an incredibly high return with giving samples with someone's logo on them. Yes, that costs a lot. You have to kind of qualify people and know whether or not they are worthwhile to do this on. But if we think about gifts, we don't tend to give somebody a gift with our monogram on it. We tend to give them a gift that's about them and about their business. So that's one thing we can do. I have seen people do things like embroidered cards. They're impressive enough that people hold on to them, because
Yeah.
embroidery in and of itself is impressive.
Yeah.
Can be quite time consuming, but window cards where you literally adhesive in a swatch of embroidered material are available. Those can be really cool if you don't want to spend on blanks. Another great thing to do is go through any dead stock you may have. But you said you're new to business, so it may be that you don't have dead stock or anything like that. Sometimes clearance stock, inexpensive items, cheap tote bags, things like that can be useful as small gifts that we can embroider something on, or our sometimes company logo. I would say it'd be better to give them something that is useful and interesting to them, and just have your logo attached to it or
Yes.
around it, or your information inside. A gift should
Yeah.
be something that's for someone. but using the embroidery so that they get an idea of what you can do and what you have and they get that kind of tactile, wonderful dimensional feel of embroidery, I think is great.
Yeah.
Do think about your investment per client, certainly, or per potential customer, but that
Yeah.
sample game, I can't tell you enough how many times I've seen people score by bringing in a sample that had somebody's logo on it, that had something interesting that they would hold on to.
Yeah.
Giving somebody an actual tangible item is a pretty big deal.
Yeah. No, and to piggyback off of that, I agree with Eric. If anytime you can actually create something for them that has their logo or something that's meaningful to them,
Tough for
that's
embroidery
yeah, definitely,
because the
because they're
digitizing process is
all
another
that.
cost.
Yeah, exactly.
But
And
yeah,
so with that, the other thing you can do though is what I would think, like you brought up the tote bags, Eric, and I think
yeah,
that would be good, right? Dollar store tote bags, real inexpensive tote bags.
yeah,
Everybody loves a good bag, and but here's what I would do with it. So you talked about the local chamber of commerce. Use a image of the local chamber of commerce, their logo, whatever that is, has that common thing that they may want to hold on to. You can have your
sure,
logo in there somewhere else, but the feature being your common shared interest, and say, hey, so you're sending them out to people that are in the chamber and just say, hey, thanks for welcoming me into the community. Here's what I
totally,
do. Here's or not, how can I best support you? Here's something to carry groceries in or whatever, to kind of obviously would want to think that through just a hair more, but that's kind of off the cuff. And like I said,
sure.
use that shared interest of the Chamber of Commerce being what you promote.
Like any other promotional products, the thing that are going to drive usefulness here, well, and that's the thing, usefulness, utility, is it something somebody will use? Is it novel? Is it interesting? Will they want to show somebody else? Will they want to hang on to it because it's novel and cool and interesting? Is it applicable? Does it cause delight? Does it have something
Yeah.
interesting as far as features, or is the embroidery interesting looking or cool? These are the kind of things that drive people to keep these things around. And like I said, as much as it's so tempting to throw our logo on these things, most people don't want to carry around a logoed banner. If you had something that's like, welcome to downtown, whatever town you're in, and had a cool image, or if you had something that
Yeah.
had like, the latitude and longitude of your capital and the name, and then you just have a hang tag or a sticker inside of it that has your business information, or a business card with a magnet on it, whatever it is that you
Yeah.
also would do for normal promotions inside that bag. But make the bag itself, even if it has your logo on it, and it should have something on it that's identifiable to you, that should be something they want to carry anytime, because
Yeah.
every time they see it, every time they pick it up, every time they use it,
Yeah.
you're in their mind and you're getting that kind of exposure for them. But the logo is usually not the way, unless the item is really compelling. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. There's people who have given away items that I use to this day because the item itself was so useful or so compelling
Sure.
that I have it hanging around.
Yeah. I was just looking
So,
for my Dax charger deal. That I
yeah,
love
the
that thing.
Dax
Traveler.
does really great ones every year. Chargers and battery
Can't
banks,
really
which for
embroider
people
that
like
though.
us who travel, they
Yeah.
those are awesome. Certainly, that's the other one I had. Tape measure. I know this is stupid, but a little
Yep.
real cloth tape measure. I have had one from an orthopedics company that gave it away, and I mean, this thing is 30 years old. It is in my
Nice.
pocket all the time. Somebody else gave it to me, and I know what their logo looks like, and they're out of business.
All right.
Something that has enough utility will come up.
Yeah, totally. All right, Eric, in 2 minutes or less, can
Nice.
we do it?
Sure. Uh,
Mike talked about the team store e-commerce situation a few weeks back, and I do remember that. It was a great conversation. He ended
yeah.
up going with a DIY WooCommerce approach and couldn't be
Nice.
more excited about it. That's awesome. Input from you guys helped greatly. So
Glad
um,
to hear that.
yeah, I'm glad we covered that. Let's see what else we
Work in
got here.
WooCommerce like every day. So yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Yep.
Ramona says stepdaughter had that happen yesterday. She knew it was going and it failed right in the middle of a serious Skype interview.
Ooh.
Oh no. Old computer. We
Yep.
spent the rest of the day trying to get everything replaced and up and running.
Yeah, mission
Okay.
critical stuff. Know what's mission critical and know how you're going to deal with it.
And then Hosta says, I can still fix a floppy
Five,
disk,
5 1/4 floppies.
different
Oof.
backup take systems. And yes, I'm a nerd. So there you go.
Yeah, if you're in embroidery and you don't still have some sort of USB to floppy drive, I'd be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Well, Eric, one other thing before, we've
Yes.
still got a little bit of time left here,
Yeah.
but so I apologize, I did not see it until it was too late. But you also mentioned at the end of Two Regular Guys that you turned in your descriptions for three uh,
Yes.
seminars at Impressions Expo. So
Yes.
We'll let you talk
so much
about those
coming.
as long as you want, and then you may or may not get cut off. Who knows?
Probably get cut off. Certainly, we're going to be doing small run patches there. It's something that people requested me do again. I'm updating my small run patch stuff. Lots of learning from other folks doing those, but certainly going to talk
Excellent.
about that. So small run patches is a big deal. Another one that's newer that we haven't done before. People want to know more about custom fonts. And so I'm going to be doing digitizing lettering, but not just lettering, also custom fonts. And I think that people kind of sleep on doing custom fonts or reusable font work in their own business. But here's the one thing that I think is the most important. Uh, Custom fonts have the ability to create kind of not only a brand recognition, but lock in. And I can't tell you how impressive that can be.
Stay tuned, everyone.
Third one's a mystery, folks.
Bye.
Bye.